the issue like DynamoDB. And right now, I have not explained what is DynamoDB. You are trying to do something, so it can be a situations like you are facing many errors. That's why I am not enabling all the labs in one go. Once first I will come explain the topic, I will explain the concept. After that, I will enable the labs. I hope you got it. Not able to see the screen. Is it for only Vera or is it for all? Lab 1, how to connect RDP. Those steps are already mentioned in the instructions. Let me know I am missing anything. Niladri. See, let me show you. Let me show your name again, Niladri. See, this is lab 2. And see, this is your name. Maybe you are using some kind of VPN or something. Still, if you don't have access, then I am removing your name. Let me copy it first. I am removing your name from the lab. Now I am adding your name one more time. See, your name is added. If I'm trying to search your name again, your name is there. So I'm copying this link for you. This link is only applicable for Niladri. Now try to access and let me know. I think you are doing something wrong. That's why you are not able to access. Which course is higher, solution architect or developer? In AWS, every service has their own importance. Like solution architect is a different concept, and developer associate is a different concept. Solution architect, we are covering the services which is needed for a solution architect, like cloud formations, BPC, networking, subnet, internet gateway, auto scaling, load balancers, and CloudFront, Web, Shield. So those services are covered for the architect. But in the developer course, we are seeing only those services. Now I can access it. So that means you are doing something wrong, Niladri. Can you show demo for the .NET Connect RDP unable to connect? All the instructions are already there. If I am trying to launch the lab, it will take around 12 to 15 minutes, and like various 347 participants are already there. So I cannot show you separately, but if you want, then what I can do, after the sessions, be here in the session. After the session, I can show you. Yeah, Mohit, your name is not there. I am also seeking for your name. I'm adding your name also. And those participants who left, who don't have the who don't have this, who don't find this type of interface, what they can do, just write your mail on the same document. Let me check the Mohit's name in all three labs. See, his name is not there. So let's add Mohit name also. Okay, I think lab 3 is also full. Let me try in lab 2. Lab 2 is full. Let me try in lab 1. Okay. Mohit, I have added your name in the lab 1. I am also giving you the link for your access. It is only applicable for Mohit. Now, those participants who left, who cannot see this type of interface, if you are not able to see this type of interface, if you are seeing the error, please contact your instructor. that means your name is not added in the labs. So what you can do, write your official mail in the same document in which you have pasted yesterday. Now I am continuing with the session. Okay, apart from the lab access, let me also ask you, how many of you completed the lab? Lab 1, how many of you have completed? Okay, completed with Java, Rahul Jhardan, completed, yes. And let me also tell you something, like you will not get like confirmation mail that lab 1 is completed. If you are doing if you are doing the task and you are not getting any error, and you are completing every task and you are not getting any error, that means the lab is completed. So I can see a lot of the participants has already completed, like Dipesh completed, Madhav completed, Shrikant, Arvind. Many of the participants are completed. Manoj. Okay, that's good. Those who has not completed the lab yet, please try to complete the lab as soon as possible. Remote desktop can't connect to the remote computer for one of these reasons. Is not enabled. The computer is turned off. The remote computer is not available on the network. First, try like if the remote connection is not working, then you can go for the Google link, because maybe in your environment you are you are using some kind of firewall or some VPN, so it's possible you are not able to connect with the with that RDP. So instead of that, use Google link. Don't write your mail here, please, because it's very difficult for me to search your name in the chat, because like after the once the session is over, then your chat will be I cannot find your chat. If you don't have the lab access, try to paste your email in the document which I have shared yesterday. Can anyone pin the can anyone copy the link and paste it again? Link of the document where you have to paste the mail. Yeah, this is Asim. Mohitendra has pasted the link. So those who are having an issue with the lab that you cannot see this type of interface, you are seeing the error, please contact your instructor. So in that case, paste your mail in the document. Okay, so most of you have also completed the lab also. So let me start with our new module. That is module number 5. Attendance link, please hold your horses. I will also share the attendance link. I will share the attendance link at 2:30, because like right now, a few more people are joining. Okay, so before like uh, moving to the next topic, that is your module number module number 5. That is module number 5. We will talk about the storage. I hope my screen is visible to you and I am clearly audible to you. Then I am starting the session. Okay. Okay. So I am starting. So before moving to the new module, I want a recap what I have covered yesterday. Can any one of you give me a recap what I have covered yesterday? Are we not taking queries from yesterday? If it is technical query, please proceed. If it is a query regarding the labs and all those things, please write your mail in the documentation. I have already said that, like I have already repeated the same thing many times. If it is a technical query, like some technical questions or anything, can you please explain this? Let me see. What's your query? Explain the command after output. How does the query work here? Give more example. So you have copied the policy from from the labs and you are pasting here. Correct? So in this policy, we are giving the access. See, in this policy, what the policy is basically, well, like what the command is, we are listing like this AWS IAM list policies. We want to list all the policies, and we want this output as a text format. So we are seeing this policy. Policy name is S3 delete bucket policy, and we are also defining the ARN. This is a simple command of AWS. And this command, what this command is actually doing, the same thing is already written in the instructions. If you are reading the instructions again, for the lab, instructions are given. So when you are copying this command, so in the instructions, the what the command is actually doing in the instructions, that is also mentioned. Yeah. So I'm coming in that questions. Yeah, we have covered yesterday. Someone is saying Cloud9, Code Whisperer, correct. IAMs, users, roles, groups, policies, correct. So I have one question. Can anyone define what is the difference between the identity-based policies and resource-based policies? Identity-based policies and resource-based policies. Correct. Identity-based policies assigned to the users or group. Identity-based policies are applied to users. This is also correct. And resource-based policies are attached to a resources. Resources like S3 bucket. Correct. Okay, so that means you know the concept like what we have covered yesterday. Now I am moving forward with our today's session. Any screen shared? Are you not able to share the screen? Are you not able to see the screen? Hassan Wala, what's your name? Let me see. Yeah, it's Hansa Wala. So you can rejoin the meeting again. Just try to rejoin the meeting because for most of them the screen is loud and clear. So now we will talk about the storage things. So what service we are using for the storage? We are going to see S3. So I'm asking, what is the use case of S3? Like why we are using S3 in our application? I'm not asking any technical definition or full form. Why we are using S3 in our application? Correct? The first use case is host our application. Second use case is second use case to store MP3 files. Correct. What MP3 files? From where I am getting the MP3 files? Yeah, Pauli is basically converted those text into speech. So those MP3 files I'm storing in the S3 buckets. Now let's see more about the S3. So we have already covered the 4 modules, and after the 4 modules, I have already enabled the lab number 1. After the module 4, I have enabled the lab number 1, and most of you have also performed the lab number 1. If someone is left who has not done the lab number 1, please try to complete it as soon as possible. And if you are having any doubt, then we will discuss. I will give you the times for the. I'm also taking the queries of the lab also. Now let's start our module number 5. In the module number 5, I'm just giving you some more like functionality, some more features of the S3. So by the end of this module, you will be able to see able to describe the basic concept of S3. Simple storage service, SSS. From here, this name is come S3. Simple storage service. Also list the options for securing data using S3, define SDK dependencies for your code, how to connect to your how to connect to the Amazon S3 service, and also describe the request and the response objects. So this is a storage option, like we will see for the storage, we will see on the Amazon S3. Let's see what's more. Yeah. So in AWS, we are having different storage services. Like we are having a block level storage, we are having a file storage, we are having a object storage. So first, I will tell you the difference between all these, like all the three storage things. Then we will, like, in this particular module, we will stick to the S3. So AWS storage solution is consist of like very portfolio of services. So you can use according to your use case. Like you can store some data and analyze your data according to your use case. If I talk about the block storage, block is basically we are storing our data in some blocks, some memory chunks. So in the block storage, your data will be like it is basically a raw storage, and your data is stored in the form of blocks. So that data is organized as an array of unrelated blocks, and you can host the file system. You can also host the file systems like places on the disk. Example of this this block storage, as you can say, like a hard disk is the example of the block storage. Hard disk or SAN, SAN basically your storage area network, or the if I talk about the like which storage services which we are using in the AWS for the block storage, the name of the service is Amazon EBS, Elastic Block Storage, which is giving you the block type of storage. Another one is your file storage. File storage is basically managing the unrelated data blocks. And this you can say that the native file systems places the data on the disk. If I talk about this example, the example of this file storage is basically your Windows file servers. And also, like if you ask the services which we are using for the file storage in AWS, various services are there, like Amazon EFS, that is Elastic File System, FSX for Windows, and FSX for Lustre also. Like this FS is only working with the Linux. If you want FSX for Windows, we are having a different flavor. FSX for Lustre, we are having a different flavor. So this is all about the EBS, like block storage and the file storage. Now let's talk about the S3, which is the uh, you can say which is main actor in our which we are using for storing our data. So S3 is basically like we are storing our like we like you can see that we are storing some virtual containers that encapsulate your data, data attributes, metadata, and the object ID together. So that whole like the data, your metadata. Metadata is data about the data, like the creation time, file size, and all those things, and the object ID. This all things together is known as object. This is the this whole combination is making an object. And which service is managing those objects? S3 is managing all those objects. Amazon S3 is there. So the example of this is basically your OpenStack, Shift, Chef, and in AWS we are having a services like S3 and S3 Glacier Flexible Retrieval. So we will see those services. Also, we are having a different tier, different classes of S3, like S3 standard, S3 standard infrequent access, S3 one zone infrequent access, S3 intelligent tiering, S3 Glacier Flexible Retrieval, and S3 Glacier Deep Archive. So we will talk about each and every storage class in detail. Right now, I am just giving you the overview. What is object? What is object storage? What is S3? And we are having a different storage classes in S3 also as well. So before moving to the next slide, as I said that times, I will share the attendance link with you. So I'm sharing the attendance link with you. Attendance link. Attendance link. Yeah, got it. Can you please explain FSX Lustre and OpenZFS a bit? Yeah, sure. First, let's complete mark like I'm giving the 5 minutes to mark your attendance. Then I will take your query also. Share the attendance link in a chat. Please mark your attendance. And please don't write anything, but in the chat till the attendance is not completed. I'm not able to see the link. Can someone else paste the same link again? Xavier, are you like joining the team from the like from browser or from application? If you are joining teams from applications, then it cannot be an issue like you are not see. So you are not able to see any chat, anything, or my chats. Okay, yeah, it's possible. No choose. I hope now you got the link. Please mark your attendance. And please don't write done here because like then lot of messages are coming and it's hard for me to find your queries. If you are like marked your attendance, you can give me a thumbs up like this, like this. No, no, don't give a thumbs up here. Just give a thumbs up in the like in the teams, not in chats. Chat, I'm seeing the your queries. See, you got one message from Sujata. Hi team, please ensure you fill the name with your registered email ID, not your employee code. I hope you got it. Yesterday, even yesterday, I also like showed the same thing. How to mark the attendance? Give your first name, your last name, and your official mail. Like for me, like just like Ankita Dube. So the mail is like this: ankita.dube@tcs.com. Like this, you can mark attendance. Where does the DynamoDB reside? S3 block storage or anything else here? DynamoDB is a totally different concept. DynamoDB is the database. These all things like EBS, block storage, file storage, and object storage. These are the storage kind of things. DynamoDB is a database. At the first day, I have already told you the difference between the database and the storage. Getting error from all the three labs. Who is this? For me, your name is showing unknown user. You have shared three screenshot. So if you are like getting the errors with all the three links, that means your name is not there for the labs. So what you can do, please mark your name, like paste your name in the document which I have provided to you. Once I will give you the break. At the meantime, I will add your name manually. Document is not accessible. I have given that access to everyone. How is it possible? Like some of you is like access, some of you are able to access the document, some of you are not able to access the document. Can you please share the document again? Someone please, someone please write the document here. Like paste the link, paste the same link here because it's hard for me to find to go to the previous chat and search for the same document. Someone please share the same document again. Not this one. This is your attendance link. I'm talking about the document in which you have to paste your IDs, those who are not having the lab access. See, Ashish has Ashish has pasted it. Hi Talib, this is my first session. Can you send the PPT of yesterday? All the PPTs are already there. Once you are accessing the lab, click on the student guide and create your account on the vital source. Then all the PPTs are already there. Okay, so that's the time is over for marking your attendance. Now let's continue with our next next slide. Before moving to the next slide, most of you are asking the questions like, can you give me the more brief about the ZFS, OpenZFS, and Lustre? So OpenZFS and Lustre basically are different flavors. See, OpenZFS is basically like file systems which you can use with that can be like this is basically you can integrate with the AWS services, just like Lustre also. If you want to read more about the OpenZFS, you can take a reference of this documentation. This is not the official documentation.
Hi, Talib.
Yeah, this one. Yeah. Hello, sir.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I will take 1 or 2 minutes maximum. Guys, as we have seen that most of you have already having the access to the labs and you have redeemed the student ticket as well, but few of them is still having any issues. So for them, I have one form, Google form, which I am sharing for them only. The person who have the issues, who does not have access the labs and the kits, still for them, it is. We have created one link from our backend team. They will work and then see the issues and then accordingly it will be resolved. So those learners who are facing the problem, they can fill this form and submit, and then later I will do the needful. So the link is shared. Request only those learners who are having the problems and issues, they can fill and submit the form. Thank you. Please continue.
Okay. So as you can see, I have provided you to document for the Lustre and for the for as well as for the OpenZFS. So this OpenZFS and this Lustre are basically different flavors which we are using for the file sharing systems. If I need a file sharing systems for different flavors, so I can use this Lustre and Windows file servers as well, OpenZFS as well. That EFS is only compatible with the Linux. If you want some other file sharing systems, then you can use this FSX for Lustre, FSX for Windows file server, and FSX for OpenZFS as well. Okay, so one Google form is there. Those who are having an issue, please write your you can fill this form for the live access. Can you please explain the difference between the block, file, and object with some example? Yes, I can. If I'm going to again blockable storage, so I'm saying that hard disk is the example of a block type of storage. SAN is the example of a block type storage in which we are storing our data in equal size of blocks, in the equal size of memory chunks. Suppose I am having a 1024. Let me write it for you. The file size is 1024 KB, and there are four blocks are there. Four blocks are there, and each capacity so how will file be stored? 256 KB will be stored in this blocks. 256 KB will be stored in this blocks. 256 KB will be stored in this block, and 256 KB will be stored in this blocks. So likewise, I can do. So if I talk about the file storage, let me give you one more example. See, if my if my I have created one EC2 instance in availability zone one. Suppose in the Mumbai region, I am having a one EC2 instance which I have lost in one availability zone, and my EBS volume is in the second availability zone. If I want to connect the volume with the EC2 instance machine, which is on the second availability zone, it's not possible because this block storage is AZ specific, availability zone specific. Those like both the things, the server as well and the memory as well, the hard disk as well, would be present in the same availability zone. So if I want some file sharing system, if I want some systems where like I can share my file, so I can for that I can use this file storage. And object storage, you know, like we are storing our data, the metadata, and the object key together. So that is basically your S3 object type of storage. Now let me give you some more clarity about the S3. So S3 is having a when we talk about the durability, so I can say that S3 is S3 is designed for the 99.99% durability, 11 nines of durability. That means once you are creating once you are uploading one object inside a bucket, the same copy of the same object, the same copy of the that image, that object will be created in two different availability zones. Suppose one region is there. Let me write it for you. This is region Mumbai, and Mumbai is having a three AZs, AZ1, AZ2, AZ3. So what, like suppose I am storing my data, I am storing one file in the AZ1. So once I am doing this, automatically the copy of the same file will be created in this AZ and this AZ as well. That's why they are giving you the 11 nines of durability. So it will be a rarest of chance that you will lose your data. And when I talk about the availability, it is designed for 99.99% availability. Like most of the time, it is available. Only like 0.01% it will be like it is a chance that your file is not available. Maybe they are maybe they are considering the factor of the some like some maintenance thing or some natural disasters like earthquake or anything can happen. Security. If I talk about the securities, for the security, we are having a different aspect for securing our buckets. Like we can use resource policies, resource-based policies are there for securing our buckets, as well as apart from the security-based policy, we will also see the like by default every bucket is private by default, and default encryption is also there, and your data will be secure at rest as well as in transfer. Then we will talk about the manageability. If I talk about the manageability, like you can manage your buckets with the APIs, with the SDKs, and also it is having a features like event notification. We will see these features, event notification in detail. And different storage classes are there, like your S3 standard infrequent access, Glacier, instant retrieval, flexible retrieval, deep archive. And then we will talk about the performance. Performance means like it is having a features like multi-part uploading, parallel request, transfer acceleration, and read after create consistency is also there. Scalability. When I talk about the scalability means like it is having a unlimited storage. Unlimited storage means you you will create a bucket and you can store like any number of object inside it, but the limitation is on one limitation is on single object. A single object cannot be more than 5 TB. Single object cannot be more than 5 TB inside a bucket, but you can store n number of bucket inside a n number of object inside a bucket. Makes sense to everyone? Scalability means it is designed for unlimited storage, and it is also you can perform some batch operations in this bucket. Apart from this overview, now let's talk about the some use cases. So we are using S3 for the for the content storage and distribution for static website hostings that we are doing for our application. And as you know, it is having unlimited storage. Like you can store n number of objects. So it is also used for the backup and archiving kind of things. It is also used for the big data analytics purpose, and it is also used for the disaster recovery purpose. 5 TB for a single object is short queue in exam. What this means is a short queue in exam. Can you please reframe your question? Difference between availability and durability. Availability means like Availability basically, whenever you want to access your data, the data will be available to you. Suppose at any point of times, like on the any day, you are trying to click on this button and the file is file is available for you. Durability means like you are not there is a rarest of chance, like when they are giving you this type of durability, there is a rarest of chance that there is a rarest of chance that you lose your data, like the entire AZ goes down and your data is vanished. Suppose like one earthquake is there or something is there, and the entire AZ goes down, or like all your data is vanished. So it will be rarest of chance, because they are creating the same copy of your data in some another AZ also. So if one AZ goes down, another two AZs are up and running, and they will serve your data. They will serve your request. I am saying that in a bucket, you can upload n number of objects, but a single object cannot be more than 5 TB. There is a limitation with a single object. Single object, like one file cannot be more than 5 TB, but you can upload n number of objects inside a bucket. Pure short questions in exam. Uh, in the exam, they are not asking question like this. What is the limitation with one object? What is S3? What is use case of S3? In the exam, they are asking you questions regarding like according to a scenario. They will create a scenario like this. Let me tell you how they are creating a scenario. They are giving you a scenario. I'm running a e-commerce company, and I want to store the some store the photos, store the pictures of some of the products which is listed on my website. But I am looking for some cost effective solution, and also I want that my data will be highly durable and highly secure. So they are giving you option like that: EVS, EFS, S3, none of the above. Which will you choose? S3. So that's how they are asking questions. In the exams, they are not asking questions like this. What is availability? What is durability? What is the limitation on a single object? What is the they are not asking a direct questions. They are creating a scenario. S3 is a specific AZ or region. See, S3 is a global service. Let me clear this thing also. If I talk about the S3, S3 is the name of service, and S3 is a global service. That means your bucket name should be unique. And if I talk about the buckets, bucket is regional service. Means we are creating a bucket inside a region. Just remember this thing. S3 is a global service, bucket is a regional service. We are creating a buckets in region. How difficult is it to clear DBS 02? I will not say it is very difficult, and I will not say it is very easy. I have cleared this exam, I think, 1 year ago. So, like, I will tell you at the last of the at the last day, I will tell you how to approach, how you will be approached for this exam, and I will also make sure that you will clear your exam in the first attempt. And also, yesterday, I am scrolling my LinkedIn. I found one guy from the session. He has already completed the certification. I am not remembering the name. I think name is Yashwant. He has already completed the certification. So don't worry about it. I will guide you how you will be approached for the questions and all those things. Yeah, Yashwant is there. So I will guide you. Don't worry about it. S3, so inside bucket only we use S3. So quite confusion for a global and region. Don't worry about it. As I'm giving you some more clarity, but I am here for the hands-on experience. Okay, Yashwant, no worries. You are already having the as I'm also showing you the some demo, as well as also you can practice the same things with the help of a labs for the hands-on. Okay, let's move forward. So if I talk about the for our applications we are using S3 for restoring the MP3 files, as well as for for the hosting our website. Now let's talk about this. So whenever you are creating a S3 bucket, you can store any number of files inside a bucket. and that data is, see now, like many times I'm saying object is basically your any type of file. It can be a text file, image, video, jpg, whatever. We are treating that file as a object. So what are the object elements? Object elements, as I told you, the data, metadata, and the key. This whole, like the whole combination of all these three things will make a object. And this is the name of the service S3, which is which is maintaining the objects, like which is basically doing all the stuffs on the object. So those data files are stored in the S3 buckets as an object. An object can be any type of things. So this bucket is created in AWS region. And but the bucket is also considered as global resource. That's why I'm saying like your bucket name should be unique. So whenever you are once you create your bucket name, you cannot be change it. So you have to choose your name globally unique. And if you are hosting a website on a bucket, so you can consider your bucket name same as your domain name as well. And that way you can use the DNS resolutions through your domain provider. And if I talk about the some things about the bucket, like bucket name, the like your name should be 3 to 63 characters long, and you can use only lowercase letters, hyphens. You cannot use underscore and all those things. We will see when I will show you the demo. We will see. So this object is including the components like your keys, your data, your new metadata. Keys is basically like a unique identifier, like a combination. Like this is like basically your key. Like this is a prefix and this is a object. Object is basically your txt files, notes.txt. So this whole thing is basically represented a key. And this is basically a data. Data is basically like what exactly data is, like file, image, video, or any document, anything. It can be a file. Metadata is basically a data about the data, like creation times, file size, and all those things. So these S3 buckets are object storage, and you don't have a directory storage. So to create a structure inside a bucket, we are using a prefixes and delimiters. We will see what is prefixes and delimiters as well. So now, why I'm showing you these things on the PPT, let me show you the demo. So how I'm doing. Till here, anyone have any doubt? Okay, let's first complete the demo. Then I think maybe your doubts will clear. So I'm searching for a S3 service. This is S3 service. Let's create a one bucket for you. Now I'm using a console for creating a bucket. So see, you can see this line. Bucket name must be unique globally. If let's see, I'm creating a name. I am creating a bucket using a name. Let's see, I am giving a name Tanveer. So maybe this this type of bucket is Zoom, please. Okay, I hope this Zoom is okay for you, or I want to move. Rashi, is it okay? Yeah. So I have created a name of a bucket, Tanveer, but maybe someone already created this name, so it's not unique. So to make it unique, I am first I am creating like this. I am not making it unique, and I am keeping every setting by default. Let's click on create bucket. See, it is giving me error. Bucket name must not contain uppercase character. So first mistake is I am using a uppercase characters. Okay. Now I am updating this as Tanveer. Again, creating a bucket. Bucket with the same name already exists. That means someone has already created the same bucket. So to make it unique, I will use some numbers like any random number like 6352 to make it unique. Now I want to create a bucket of this name. Let's click on create bucket. See, bucket is created. Tanveer 6352. Everyone can see it? Okay. Now what I will do, I'm going to this bucket, Tanveer, and what I will do, I will upload one object inside it. Let's upload, click on add files, upload one object inside this. Which object? Yeah, I'm using this object and click on upload. And it's done. Let's close this. So this is my bucket. All the buckets are there. Inside a Tanvir bucket, I'm having one object. If I want to see the URL, one object URL is created. See, this type of URL is created, which I'm showing to you in the PPTs. See, this is the PPT. This is my URL, HTTPS notes bucket, and the region name and the Amazon AWS.com. Then your keys. Just like as we are also having a object URL. This is your bucket name, and this is your object name. If I am copying this URL and pasting in the chat, everyone try to access this URL and let me know what happens. Access denied. As I have already told you that by default everything is private in S3. So now how to make it public? Let's see. I hope now the screen is clear to you. I think the screen is more visible to you. I have zoomed. Now how to make it public? See, two layers are there. Two security layers are there. One is on the bucket level. So if I go to the Tanvir, go to the permissions and see bucket public access is on. So I will edit this and turn off this and save changes. Let's try to confirm. Now the security layer which is acting on the bucket level that I have deleted. Now can anyone try and let me know? Same error, yeah. Because I have already told you two layers are there, two security layers are there. One is on the bucket level, another is on the object level. Now if I go to the this cat.jpg, one more layer is there, one more security layer is there. See this layer. Now I will disable this layer also. I am enabling the ACL, clicking on I acknowledge, save changes. And after this, going to the permission and clicking on edit and giving everyone public access for this object. Read object I'm giving public access. I understand and save changes. Now everyone try and let me know. Yeah. Now I hope everyone can see the cat image. Yeah, it's a white cat, able to see cat image, beautiful cat. Correct. So now with this demo, I have explained two things. One is like how to things like how to create a bucket, how to upload a object, and also two security layers are there. One is on the bucket level, another is on the object level. And also your bucket name should be unique. Okay, so that's all about this demo. Now let's move forward with our PPTs. How to get into the screen which you are get showing. What this means, how to get into the screen which you are showing. You mean the console screen? Yeah, so you can search like if you are having your personal console, then search for S3 and try to create an object. What is prefix? Yeah, I'm coming on that also, prefix and the suffix and the delimiters as well. See, so whenever we are creating an object inside a bucket, there is a no hierarchy is there inside a bucket. So you can use prefixes, such as we are using prefix this tab, like for the we are using this bucket for the development purpose. So we are using these prefixes devs like dev in a key names to group the similar type of items. So to organize your keys and to create a local logical hierarchy, you can use delimiters as well. What is delimiter? Delimiter is basically any string, any character like your like such like this slash or underscore. These are basically your delimiters in the key names. So if you are using the prefixes and the delimiters to organize your keys in a bucket, you can retrieve the subset of keys that matching a certain criteria. And you can also list the keys by prefixes. You can also retrieve the some set of common keys prefixes by specifying a delimiter. And this whole mechanism is for to classify or to index the data. So these prefixes and these delimiters are also used to fine tune your security settings. Now let's see about the event notifications. Does anyone know about it? What is event notification? Malu is asking objects and buckets are same. No, totally different things. Buckets are just like your containers inside which you are keeping your objects. Inside buckets, objects are there. Yeah, correct, Chandni. Separator, no. Sending response back. Sending mail. Notify about the objects. Notifying about the events through emails. Okay. Subhashini is saying it is a monitoring service. Notification by mails, post. Yeah, correct. Dheeraj. Yeah, absolutely Dheeraj. It will notify you whenever new object is created or object is removed. That is basically your event notifications. So whenever any event happens in your bucket, you can use S3 event notification feature to receive the notification of those events. So it is not by default. You can configure it. You can configure this S3 notification to publish the events to specific destinations, like your SNS topic or any SQS, any Lambda functions, or maybe you want to invoke some Lambda functions. So for that, you can use this event notification. And in our project, this event will basically invoke the Lambda functions to process the computing things whenever we are creating any node or updating any node. So to invoke the Lambda functions, we are using the event notifications in our project. Let me tell you one more thing. As who is this? Yeshwant, you are saying notifying about a bucket is created or deleted. It's not like that. It is not giving you the notification for a bucket. It is giving you the notification for object. Objects and buckets are two different things. It is giving the notification of objects, not buckets. Yeah, it is basically invoking the other Lambda function, or you can also integrate with any other Lambda functions, any other notification service, whatever you want. Are these only at object level, not a bucket level? Yeah, it is only acting on a object level, not on a bucket level. Can give notification for resources. Resources, yeah, resources are basically your objects. Whatever the data which you are putting in inside a bucket, that is basically your resources. Can you please give a demo for the event notifications? Demo is already covered in the like in the labs. When you are performing the lab, this demo is already there. If you want it, I can show you, but I have to configure the demo, so I cannot perform the whole demo now. But I can show you how to configure this event notification. If I go to the properties, yeah, see this event from here, you can create a event notification. If I click on this option, create event notification, and also I can choose these options. for which like I can give event name and prefixes and suffixes. And also I can choose all objects create I want events, or for the put object, for the post object, for the copy objects, or for object removal, I want a notification. For object restore, I want a notification. For object resell, I want a notification for object tagging. But see, these all functions are basically regarding to the objects, not related to the buckets. So likewise, I can choose the options like I want a notification when someone is putting and posting a object inside a bucket. So then I have to choose a lambda function. I can choose as an S topic, and I can also choose a SKS topic. So from here, I can choose a lambda function and save changes. So whenever someone is, suppose if I'm choosing this SNS topic, so I have to create an SNS topic, and if I'm choosing this and saving changes, so whenever I am uploading one more object, I will get a notification. That's how you can do. Makes sense to everyone? Event notification cannot be enable permissions to create a server through console. Yeah, you can do that. You can make a user and give only S3 read only permissions. Lambda, SNS, and SQS are totally three different things. We will see in detail in the further session, like in the further modules. Lambda, SNS, and SQS as well. SNS is basically your simple notification service. SQS is your simple queue service. For the notification, we are using SNS. Yeah, you can do that. You can make a lambda functions in Python, and you can invoke that lambda functions whenever such events occur. Okay, let's move forward. We are done with the event notification. Now let's see what is next. So next is versioning. Can anyone explain what is versioning? What is versioning? Anyone? Copy of an object. Okay, it seems correct to me. We are maintaining different copy of an object. Yeah, yeah. This is also correct. Versioning means creating a new copy and not changing the master file. Correct. Updating objects, file versions, naming each change, multiple copies, creating new versions. Correct, 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 correct. When we update the policies, a file, then we get a new versions. Correct. Now let me tell you what is versioning. So version is basically this object version ID is basically a part of your system's defined metadata. So by default, versioning is disabled in your S3 buckets. And in versioning disabled buckets, object has a version ID null. And once you are enabled the versionings, then each version of an object is having some unique ID. Like example is like this. Like this is basically my original object. You take a pen first. Yeah, this is my original object. This is having a version ID null. After that, I am enabling the versioning. So when I am keeping the like maintaining the same copies, every copy has the version ID. Like this version ID 111, version ID 1212. So we are maintaining the copies of the file. So why we are maintaining? So that we are having a record what changes we have done in our one file. Also, one more feature is there, object lock. Those buckets who are having a feature, those buckets who enable the versionings, like to those buckets to which you have enabled the versionings. So object lock feature is also there. Object lock feature is basically to prevent the data from being changed or to deleted. So for that we can use this object lock. So if you are like enable this feature object lock to any object, then that object cannot be deleted and cannot be like overridden. You can see the same thing. Like we are maintaining the different versions of the same file, and once we are deleting the some versions, so it is showing the delete marker on the same object. So we can also delete the object, or like object version ID is also deleted. That is specifying the object version permanently. So let me show you the same thing on console again. Object locking is basically used to lock to prevent from the accidental deletion of your resources. Let me close this. So see, this is my bucket and this is my object. One object is there. What I will do, first I will enable the versioning. I'm going to the version and clicking on these options, enable bucket versioning. It is taking so much time. Let me refresh it again. Okay, see, versioning is enabled. Now what I will do, I will upload the same object again. This cat image. Click on upload. Uploading is done. Click on close. See, if I enable this show versions, see, two files are there. This is your original file because this original file has the version ID null. You can also see the timing. At 2:59, I have uploaded this object, and then I have uploaded this object at 3:16. And this is the version ID of the second image. So we are having the same files, we are maintaining the same files, we are maintaining the same copy of the file by enabling the versioning. And if I want, I can also enable the feature of object lock. If I want to delete it, I can also delete it. See, this file is deleted. Now I am having only one file, that is the original file. Okay, let's move forward. We are done with this. Now let's see about the tags. Does anyone know about the tag? I am not uploading with a separate ID. The ID will be given by the AWS itself. Correct, Shivanshi. Then that file will be treated as a different file. Akshata. Can we recover deleted S3 files? The answer is yes. But how? That thing I will tell you. Like after once I will complete this module. Because different methods are there to recover the deleted S3 bucket. You can do that same region replication, cross region replication. I will come on that things also. Right now I'm asking how to what is tags? Correct. Tags are basically used for the segregation of your files or for the categorizations. So these tags are basically a unique key value pair that you can use, like that you can attach to any AWS resources and like your S3 bucket, your objects or any metadata. So you can create, update, delete, and copy and replace your tags at any time. So use case of tags, like we are using a tags for grouping the objects, grouping objects together. Likewise, I want all the objects which is related to the department developer. Likewise, I have put a tag to some resources. So I want to group all the objects which tag is department developer. It is also for the cost allocation, for the automation, for the access control, and for operation support and monitoring. That's why we are using tags in our environment. Can we apply same tags to more than one object? Yeah, it's possible. Like maybe you are having some resources. Like I'm having like 1,000 machines, 1,000 virtual machines. I want to cap those 1,000 virtual machines for the production purpose. So what I will do? How I will segregate those 1,000 machines? I will cap the tag of like production. Like I will like name production, and that's why I will allocate those tags. So I can whenever I want this all the EC2 instance regarding the productions, I can see at one together. Bucket tags available, yeah. Bucket tags are also available. Tags are available for each resources inside our AWS. Now let's see what is access control. So as I have already told you, by default everything is private in AWS. So the public access is denied for the object as well as for the bucket as well as. So that means like the only the resource owner can see the object inside a bucket. So if you want to like give the someone access, so what you can do, you can adjust access to your S3 buckets and objects. Like block public access settings can override within the bucket policies and the object permissions. So this S3 supports both user-based policies as well as resource-based access control. So these IAM policies are identity or user-based policies that are basically attached to a some identity like your user, like your role or group. So these IAM policies are basically defining the like defines what specific access to what specific access an identity can has to the buckets or the objects. Then we are also having this object ACL. Object ACL is basically a resource-based policy that you are attaching to a buckets or objects, and they are defining the type of access given to AWS account or a group. Then we are also having a bucket policies. Bucket policy are basically attached to a S3 buckets, and bucket policy can grant a public or anonymous access to the buckets and its content as well. So it can also specify what action a person or application is allowed or denied from performing on the bucket. And you can also define the access to a specific S3 buckets, objects, and granting the access across the AWS account. And also, if you want, you can also block the access based on some condition. Like if someone is coming from this IP, block his access. If someone is coming from this port, block his access. You can also like define the bucket policies like this. Dynamic website hosting is not available in S3. Yeah, correct. You cannot host the dynamic website. It can only like it is only possible to host the static website with the help of S3. Now let's see how this bucket policy looks like. This is bucket policy. In the bucket policy, we are having this bucket policy is basically a resource-based policy. In the bucket policy, we are having a five key elements. The first element is resource. If I talk about the resource is basically we are giving some ARN, the Amazon resource name, which is defining the resource to which you are allowing or denying the permissions. Like I want to give the permissions for this note buckets. No, inside a note bucket, this is a name of bucket. All object, all object inside this bucket. So this is a resource. Then we will see action. Action is basically what operation is allowed or denied. Like get object is allowed, get object version is allowed. Effect we are using the allow or deny that indicates whether the policy allow or denies the access. Then we are also like that is not here, but we are also having a condition. We can also mention the condition in the policy as well. That basically we are specifying the condition when the policy is in effect. And the last thing is principle. Principle is basically defining to who the policy applies to. So we are adding these policies to a bucket to grant the AWS account or IAM user access permissions for the bucket and the objects. And these object permissions are also applied to the objects that bucket owner creates. Now let's talk about the S3 access points. All fields are mandatory. Apart from the condition, all fields are mandatory. Its condition is up to you if you want to specify a condition or not. Apart from condition, all fields are mandatory. Could you elaborate the principle? Principle basically defines to like who the policy applies to. Like principle can be anything like a user, AWS service, a role, or a federated user. Like who like to whom the policy is applying. But Angular web application we can deploy Ishak. If you are like if there is a not dynamic content, like there is no you are not maintaining any dynamic content on the front end, then it's possible. But if you are maintaining dynamic content on the front end, then it's not possible to post your website on the S3. Either it is your Angular web application, either it is your Node.js web application, either it is your Java application, nothing. See, as I have told you, like I have created one bucket, but Angular is dynamic. I'm not talking about the like Angular is basically Angular is a framework. So I'm not here talking about the framework and all those things. I'm talking about the functionality of a website, functionality of a application. If the functionality is dynamic, then that is not possible to host the dynamic website on the application on the S3. We can keep a student guide open. All slides are there. Yeah. So now let me tell you something. Like previously, I have created one bucket and I have given the access to you. So previously, like by default, public access is denied. Then I have given the public access to everyone. So everyone can see the buckets. Everyone can see the object inside it. If I want to give the controlled access, what is control access? Suppose control access is basically I have created a bucket and I have uploaded one object. I want to make sure like only Shambhavi can see the bucket. Lakshmi cannot see the bucket. Lakshmi cannot see the object. Malup can see the what is inside the object, and Rahul cannot see. So if I want to give a control access, so for that I can use this access point. So these access points are basically a unique host names. We can use bucket policy as well for that control access. We can use bucket policy as well, but there is some limitation with the bucket policy. Suppose 1,000 objects are there inside a bucket. So to create a bucket policy for 1,000 objects or for 1,000 users, it's very a complex task or very like a very difficult task for you. If you are inside a bucket, you are having a 1,000 object and you want to give a access to 10,000 users, then it will be a very difficult task for you to create a policy for 1,000 users. So in such scenario, we will use the access point instead of bucket policy. And there is also one limitation with the bucket policy. Bucket policy cannot be go beyond more than 20 kb. That's why we are using access point. So this access point is basically attached to a buckets. So using this access points, you can share the you can also share the access to the S3 buckets with others. So use case is basically like when you are using when you are using this S3, you can use decentralized teams, and each group is getting its own access points with the tailored permission and access. And it is also providing a granular control of teams accessing the data lakes. And centralized control is also there. So each Amazon S3 access point is configured with the access policy specific to a use case. So every access point is associated with a bucket, and this access point contains a network origin control and blocking the all the and blocking a public access control. Can you show with some example for the access point? This access point example is already covered in the lab. And but if you are asking some demo, I will show you the demo as well. Now let's see. Let me see the chat. Control access is specific to a few people who can database. S3 dynamic website. Can S3 be used for dynamic website? AWS is excellent for hosting website due to its scalability, reliability, and scalability. Service like EC2 and S3 make it easy for host both dynamic and static websites. Who's that? Ishak. Ishak, can you please show me any documentation like where any official documentation from the like from AWS? Yeah, yeah, we will have a break. Let me show you something. S3 static website hosting. See, those who are having like some issue, those who want to explore more about the hosting a static website using S3, they can like read this documentation. Like, see, you can use S3 to host the static website. On a static website, individual web page include the static content. So they might also contain a client-side HTTP scripts, all those things. So those who are having a like more issue in this particular concept, they can explore this particular document by their own. Those who have filled the form state a form may have audited the above URL. Okay, and those who are having an issue with the labs, your name is added and one URL is shared by the Vimal sir. You can try to access this URL, and you can like if someone is found any difficulty, then you can paste the screenshot in the chat. Can you explain the access point once and the signification behind it? Yeah, like I have already told you about the access point. Access point is basically to give the control access to the users. Like different users are there. So if I want to give the control access to the different users, like I have created one bucket. I want to give a I want to give a access to Chain, but I don't want to give a access to let's say Apurva. So in that case, I can use access point. Could you please provide attendance link? Forget to fill. Okay, can anyone please copy the attendance link and paste it here? I hope that will be not expired. I am wasting. It is expired. Okay, if it is expired, then the then your attendance will be marked by the backend team. No worries, your attendance will be marked by the backend teams. So now we are having a break of 30 minutes. See you after 30 minutes. Enjoy your break. Hello everyone, I am back. I hope everyone is here. Okay, now let's continue our next topic. Let's see what is next topic. So next topic is all about the S3 service endpoint. Now we are starting our discussion with the service endpoint. Till now I have given you some idea about the access point and all those things. Now we will see what is service endpoint. So let's see what is next. So this is all about the service endpoint. So this Amazon S3 is basically supports the programmatic access to the S3 buckets and the objects as well. So whenever you are connecting the AWS services programmatically, you are using some AWS service endpoint. And this service endpoint is basically a front door for a customer or for a user. This endpoint is basically a URL that is an entry point to the AWS service. So this example basically illustrating a virtual hosted style URL to open object. Just like I have also given you the same URL when I have created when I have uploaded one object inside a bucket. So this type of URL I have given to you to access the same object. So likewise, we are having this service endpoint also. So these URL endpoints can vary. You can have the Amazon S3 dual stack endpoints URL as well. This one which is supported by the IPv4 and IPv6 as well. And we are having S3 access points, website endpoint. All these are basically a endpoint types. So you can see all the example is also there. Like this is an example of a S3 dual stack endpoint and S3 access endpoint and website endpoints. So this is basically your front door of the AWS services, where like user is trying to enter into the AWS services or user is trying to access the AWS services. Now let's see how to interact with the S3 using the CLI. So this S3 commands is working with the CLI as well, as I have already given you the some document, one CLI document I have given to you where all the commands related to the S3 is already written there. So we are having a two types of command. One is S3 and another one is S3 API. So let's see what is the difference between the S3 API and the S3. So if I first I would like to talk about the S3 API. So this S3 API command offer direct interface to S3 API, and they are providing you the lower level and more granular control over the API parameters. So these commands are allowing you to make the specific API calls to provide a more flexibility or the advanced use case. If I talk about the S3 command, S3 command is basically a higher level and more user-friendly interface. They are designed to simplify the common S3 command structure. And these commands are also underlying the API calls and providing a convenient options and defaults. So like if you want to upload a set of files from one look like from if you want to upload a set of files from your local machine to the S3 bucket, you can use the CP command or the sync command as well. So these commands can copy a large file and synchronize the source file to a destination directories as well. Whereas this is giving you the more control, this S3 API commands. So all these command example are already listed there in the document which I have provided you on the first day of the session. Now let's talk about the example. Now we will talk about the example of a CLI command. So we are having different type commands like AWS configure get regions to know the region in which you are working on, S3 LS like to list down all the buckets and to make bucket in any region. MB command we are using AWS S3 MB and to query query all to list down all the bucket inside your account. You can use this command and this AWS S3 API you are using to get the buckets, and this is also we are using on to see or to get the bucket location inside a nodes bucket. So like we want to know the bucket location of this bucket nodes bucket. So we can run this type of commands in the CLI of S3. S3 API and S3, someone is asking about S3 API with the real-time examples. These all are the real-time example. Who is that? Let me see. For me, your name is showing unknown user. So these are all are the real-time examples. So these are just this is a basically a command for copying the object. Like this is basically your real-time example. This copy object. We are using this type of command: create multi-part upload, complete multi-part upload, abort multi-part upload. We are writing command like this, but instead of this, we are writing command like this, like CP command for copying the object, sync command for syncing your files from one location to another locations. So these all are the real-time examples. Now let's see how you will interact with the S3 using SDK. So to interact with the SDK, first you have to configure the S3 setting for the SDK. That means how you will how you are setting the settings. So that means you have to set, like install your SDK. Like for example, if I'm working in the Python, I can install Boto 3 so that your code can interact with the AWS services. And that SDK also know your credentials. That means you should like run the command AWS configure and give your access key ID and the secret access key ID on the given ID. After the configuration, the Amazon S3 settings, then you are defining the dependencies. How you will define the dependencies that we will see in the next slides. After that, you are creating a S3 client connection to make interact with the AWS services. You are making a S3 client connections. Then you are performing the operations just like you want to create a bucket, you want to delete a bucket, you want to copy your files, you want to copy objects. So then you are performing the operations. After that, you are closing the S3 client connections. Now let's see each of the steps one by one. First, we will see how to configure the S3. So for that, to make an endpoint or successfully interact with the AWS services, this SDK or the CLI need informations. What informations? Like the access key ID and the secret access key ID of the like a requester or the who wants to perform an operations. So we are like giving all the information like access key ID and secret key access key ID and configuring all those things. And also some AWS SDK tools share the some common credentials providers finding the required informations. So those providers are also listed in the order in which the AWS SDK or tools looks for the credentials. Like first we are having a per operation parameter, then environment variables, then shared credential files and config files. This is basically order of credentials or configuration setting providers. Once you are setting, like you are configuring your S3, after that, you are defining the dependencies inside your code. Whenever you are writing a code on your IDE, then first you are defining the dependencies. Like for the Java package, when you are working on the S3, you are defining the dependencies, like you are importing these packages like software.amazon SDK, service S3, S3 model, S3 client, S3 async client. For the .NET, we are including these dependencies like defining S3 transfer, S3 model, encryption. And for the Python, we are using this Boto S3 or Boto S3 for the Boto S3 transfers. Every dependency has a different use case, but like whatever you want to work, you will include the dependencies according to your use case. Example, if I can ask you let me tell you this Amazon, this software.amazon.aws SDK.service S3. The first one, this one, is basically API for creating a S3 client for the Java so that you can work with the objects and buckets. And then next is basically for the low level next command. This package is basically low level API access to create a request and process the responses. So these all are the packages for the different use cases. This transfer is basically this Boto S3 transfer is basically for file transfer. If you want to perform a file transfer, you have to define this dependency inside your code. If you want to make a client connections, then you have to import you have to define these dependencies Boto S3 for Python. Once you are configuring the S3 settings and define the dependencies, then what is the step number 3? Step number 3 is you are creating a S3 client to make the service request. So you already followed the best practices to create a shared configurations that is used as a common setting across the all the developers. So you also configure the access control to a bucket and object by using some IAM policies and bucket policies and as well. So before you are making any call to a service using a API, first you are creating a S3 client that is referencing your S3 APIs. So you can configuring the S3 client before creating it. And also, once this reference is created, it is immutable. Once it is done, it is immutable. After that, when your client is created, then you are performing operations. So first, let's see like what is the code to create a client. So this is a Python. So you can see this is the Python Python example how to create a S3 client in Python. So as you know, Python supports a low-level API for client and high-level API for resources. Low level for client, high level API for resources. So whenever you are creating a bucket, what we are actually doing, we are creating a whenever you are creating a bucket. So so first this client is basically returning a response as a dictionary. So if you are creating a bucket using the resource API, you will be receive a bucket instance first. So for that, what we are doing, this is a low level interface. This is the example of a low level interface to create a S3 client. This is a high level interface to create a S3 client. Now we will see the how to configure and create the S3 client in Python. Now, apart from the creation, and we are also configuring the S3 client in Python. This is a Python example. Let's see. So in this whole example, in this Python example, the configuration information of a specific profile is passed as parameter whenever we are creating a client. And to make the more code, to make the code more flexible and do not dependent on the hard coded AWS region, this class boto3.session is used. So this session is an object that stores the configuration state, and you can also pull this information to create a client. Once the client is created, you can perform any operation, such as in this particular examples, we are creating a bucket. This is this is how I'm creating a bucket. I'm giving a name of a bucket that is nodes bucket. Let me show you the same example in Java as well. Those who are the Java developer, they will understand this code really well. How I'm configuring and creating the S3 client in Java. So this is the AWS SDK for Java that is providing you the high level and the low level APIs. So in this, we are creating a client using the factory method builder, this one, to configure and build your client. So this code snippet is basically like giving you the AWS region, which is defined the AWS instance profile. This region we are working US West 2, and this SDK is retrieving the AWS credentials. And in the above example, you also notice the profile name is passed to resolve the credentials. This I am passing as a parameter to resolve the credentials. Now let me show you the .NET example, how to create and configure the S3 client. This is the .NET examples. So in this .NET examples, you are programmatically overriding the default configurations, and you can create a client based on the configurations. So whenever that client is created, the access key and the secret access key are passed as a parameter. See this access key and secret access key I am passing as a parameter. So passing these credentials, the code is not as passing that credentials in the code is not recommended because it can be a security risk. So whenever you are having a client, you can interact with the service, and the client is basically used to fetch the count of total number of buckets and list them by a name. So here what I am doing, I'm just fetching the count of total number of buckets, and also I want to list them as a name by their name. So till here, anyone have any doubt in the code? His profile name must be unique. Yeah, whoever currently working on that particular code, that credentials will be passed on as a profile name. S3 client means whenever you want to perform some operation on the S3 using the AWS SDK, first you are making a connection. with the AWS service. So that's why we are creating S3 client connections. Okay, now let's go to our PPT. So now after the once our client connection is created, now we are performing the operations. Like this is the basically an example in which we are putting an object. Like using a SDK, I want to put a object. I want to upload an object inside a bucket. This is an example of a put object request, and response is also there. So like this SDK do not expose many of the details of API call. It is also important to understand the type of information and that the request and the response provide. For example, here header is there. Header associate the metadata and the with the API request. And header in the request are used to sign the request also to specify the content type, calculate the length of a content. And response is also having a header where like and parameters are there. Parameters in the response. Parameters are basically in the response is used to specify whether the connection is closed or whether an ID of an object was uploaded into a into some button enabled object. So various things are there, like your e tag header and all those things are there. After that, once you have performed the operations, then you will close the S3 client connections by creating this functions close. And also in the SDK, that the client connection is automatically closed. So you do not require to clean up and close the remove client from the connection pool. It is automatically done by the SDK also. But if you want to do it, you can do it, but it is not it is automatically done by the SDK to close the client connection. Now we are having a knowledge check. What is expect? What is expect 100 continue? What this means? Expect 100 continue means 100 is basically a uh, HTTP status code. You are talking about this. So this is the response. 100 is basically a status code, which means like it is continuing your request. This is basically a representation of your response. How what data is there in your responses. Yeah, so I am asking about the question. Yeah, true. Everyone is saying true. Yeah, answer is correct. To the first statement is true. What will be the second? I have told you this thing. Like the second statement, we have already discussed. Like, I have already told you this thing. Mix of responses I am getting. Someone is saying true. Someone is saying false. Bucket is regional. That's correct. Bucket is regional. That means the answer is false. Those who are saying true, let me tell you again. Bucket is the regional service. S3 is the global service. Like that times when I have created a bucket, let me show you. See here, I have created a bucket named as Tanveer. You can see the region also. Tanveer bucket is created in the North Virginia region, US East one. That's why I'm saying bucket is a regional service. But that name must be unique, globally unique. What about the third one? True. Okay, correct. Third one is true. Fourth one, false, true. Fourth one is false. Why it is false? Let me tell you. Because whenever you are enabling a web, like whenever you are enabling the web hosting, it is not changing its endpoint, but it is not changing the existing endpoint. It is adding additional web endpoint. Instead of changing, we are adding additional endpoints, additional web endpoints. What about the fifth one? True, 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 true. Correct, it is true. What about the sixth one? Sixth one. Correct. Sixth one is true. So you all did a great job. Everyone is answered really well. So I want to clap for all of you. A big clap from my side because you answered really well. Now let's see what is next. Okay, that's all about this particular module. Now we will start our next module. That is, we will perform some operation on our S3. We will see some more features of S3 in the next module. Also, I can see like a lot of people are raised their hand. Who is this? Chandan Kumar. Chandan, do you want to say something? If yes, please write in the chat. Please explain three. Chandan Kumar, my chat was disabled for a long time. Right now, I can see your message. Chandan, what did you did? Right, okay. Some people are asking about the explanation of third. So in the third statement, it is saying like that AWS SDK defines low-level APIs for S3, which are mapped to a underlying AWS REST API operations. So it's correct because like we are like in the back end, we are using the AWS REST APIs. Whenever you are doing some things, whenever you are performing some operations on the S3, so you are defining the low-level API inside a code, and that API is basically mapped to a underlying in the backend, we are working on the AWS REST API. So that's why it is true. Whenever you are writing a code any IDE, so that means low level API and high level API. Like many times we are various times I have already covered like low level APIs with the various like it is giving you the ease to perform any task, and the high level API you are having a by low level only serve from SDK. Can you please explain the static website hosting in S3? Static website hosting means we are hosting our static website with the help of a S3. Just like this, let me show you. See, this is my bucket. And if I want, it is on, I think, properties, website hosting feature is there. Yeah, see, this feature is there. If you want, you can host your static website with the help of this feature. Okay, let's start our next module. Next module is also about the S3, but in this module, I will show you more code. Like I will show you more code examples, how to list the bucket and how to do those things, that things. So we will focus in this module more on the code. Those who are the Java developer, Python developer, and the .NET developer, we are giving you the we are giving the code like we I am showing to the some code snippet how to perform those operations. Pratik Patel, and for dynamic And for dynamic hosting, we are having a different AWS services. So you can use those AWS services. Like Elastic Beanstalk is there. You can use EC2. You can various options are there. We have already covered the five module number five. Now we will see module number six. Let me take a pen. Yeah, let me change the pen color. I'm changing a color as black. So this is module number six. So module number six, you are processing the storage operations. After that, I will enable the lab number two. Let's see what is next. So by the end of this module, you will be able to perform the key bucket and object operations, and also explain how to handle the large files and large number of files. Then you will see what is S3 for hosting a static website, and then how to grant a temporary access to your object. So first we will see working with the buckets. So when you are working with the buckets, various operations are there, like create operation, means creation of a bucket, list down all the buckets, delete the buckets. So these are the some operations which you are doing with the buckets. So this like the SDK and the command line interface that is configured, and you are ready to work with the S3 through your applications. So with the right permissions, you can create a bucket, you can list a bucket, you can delete a bucket, and also you can configure the bucket. Configure means you can give the specific permissions to someone. You can set the properties. Properties means you can specify the way of like you can specify the way of the bucket function uh, how to manage the function and how to manage the object inside a bucket. And configure means also you are responsible for management. Management means basically you are managing the object inside a bucket. Also, this S3 buckets are by default private, so you can also say, set them private. Also, you can make a policy for a controlled access. You can set the encryption. You can set the lifecycle policies, enable the course versioning, website ho- website hosting. You can set the event notification. You can set the policies, cross-region applications, same region applications. You can use tags as well to segregate your data, and many more features are there for the bucket operations. So we will see all those things. Next thing is how to create a bucket. So to create a bucket, the steps are very simple. First, decide a bucket name in AWS region. In which region you want to create a bucket, and you are also deciding a bucket name, and that name must be unique. If that bucket name is already exist, it will give you an error when you are performing the same things with the help of a SDK. Then it is giving you an error. This step is done. After this step, you are creating a bucket. Once your bucket is created, then you are checking the head bucket info. Head bucket info means like the bucket name, the bucket region, the or like whatever the information is that is related to the bucket that will be shown to you. After that, you are verifying the bucket creation by retrieving the bucket information. So if I am running this command AWS S3ls, so it basically it lists down all the buckets, whatever the buckets I am having inside my account. So that's how I am verifying if the bucket is there or not, which I have created in the second step. Now, first operation I will tell you, that is your head bucket application. Head bucket means get operation. First we are performing a get. We will talk about the get operation. So this head bucket operation is the head request to the bucket. So it is returning the header that basically get operation would return. It is in the header of the bucket. So this head bucket request is useful in determining whether the bucket is exist and if you have a permissions to access it or not. So if you are like running some command to if you are performing some get operations and if you are having a sufficient permission, then it is returning a code 200. That means okay. And if the bucket does not exist and you don't have the permissions, then it is returning a error 404 that is not found or 403 forbidden code. So this message body includes this message body is not included. So you cannot determine the exception beyond the error codes. So you can see the exceptions also. Exceptions also there. No such bucket exception. AWS service exception. SDK client exception, S3 exceptions. So this is a request syntax. What I'm doing, I am just performing this head bucket request, and this type of response I'm getting. If the everything is goes okay, then I can see the bucket. I can see the bucket information if the bucket exists, and I'm seeing status like this, 200 okay. And if I don't have a permission, and if that bucket is not exist, then I am getting some errors like 404 or 403. And it also it also mentioning the errors inside the response. So this is the Java, this is a Java syntax, like this is Java syntax example. Now let me show you the exact code in the Java of head bucket request. This is the head bucket request example in Java. That means we are getting the information about the header of a bucket. So this is a Java code example in which head bucket request is made on the specified bucket name, and the result of the API call are captured and interpreted. See what I'm doing? I am see this code head bucket request. And also I'm giving a bucket name, which is stored in this data type bucket name. Let me see chat as well. Okay, how to handle these errors in Python. I am also showing you that how to handle this in Python as well. Now Java code is clear. Now I'm showing in Python. This is a Python code example. In this also we are performing the head bucket operation. Now let me show you the .NET example. This is the .NET example. The same things. We are performing the head bucket. Now let's see. Once you are checking the head bucket operations, that means once you are checking if the bucket is exist or not. After that, if not, then we are creating a bucket. See how to create a bucket. So this is basically like we are creating a bucket. Like this is an example in Python, in Java, in .NET as well. Before creating a bucket, we are also first creating a S3 client connection. See this. We are first creating a client connections. So some of the SDKs have the methods that you are using to provide to use the head bucket operations, but they provided you the limited feedback. For example, if you are interested in only knowing whether the bucket exists or not, so you can use does bucket exist also, as we are using for the Java. This options like this feature does bucket exist. And in .NET, in .NET examples, some configurations are set programmatically when you are constructing the request. Now, we are also using waiters for the for like for wait. We are basically waiting for bucket to be created. For that, we are using waiters in Python as well, in Java as well, in .NET as well. We are also using. So you can continuously loop through the head bucket command until the bucket is created, and then you can use the wait. And for that, you can use the waiters, which will wait until the bucket exists. Also, how you will update the versioning, like previously, I have showed you the versioning, but that is with the console. Here you can see this command, how to update the versionings. This is the command, this command to update the versionings, to enable the versioning on the selected bucket using the CLI. Now we are using the CLI for enabling the versionings. So likewise, I will run the command and see, you can see this status enabled. So that means the versioning is enabled for this bucket. The bucket name is like I am running this command AWS S3 put bucket versioning bucket. This is the name of a bucket, that is notes bucket. And now I am checking if the versioning configuration status is enabled or not. So it is showing status enabled. That means bucket is versioning is enabled. And this is the command to update the bucket versioning on my selected bucket. So all these commands are there in that document which I have provided to you. All the CLI commands are there. Now, like previously, we have seen how to work with the buckets. Now we will see, I have told you about the head bucket operations. That means head bucket operations, or you can also say as get operation for the bucket. Now we will talk about working with the objects. Like what are the options are there? Like what operations are there which we will perform on the objects. Before moving to this, let me see chat as well. Advantages or disadvantages of both. Please post doc CLI commands here. What is bucket versioning? Versioning we have already seen, like in the previous module, we are maintaining the multiple copy of a file. What is listing a bucket? Listing a bucket means like in my account, 10 buckets are there. So I am listing the names of all the buckets, like Talib bucket, Chain bucket, Premila bucket. Let me give you the CLI document, AWS CLI commands. I have already given to you, but no issues. I am pasting it again. I see someone has already given the same document. Here all the commands are there for each service. Is listing a bucket a get operations? No. Bucket operation, we are checking the header, like information about a bucket, like if that bucket is exist or not. When see with the console, you are like if you are creating a bucket with the console, like you are giving a name, and if you are like clicking on the create bucket, then it is showing error. Like bucket name must be unique. That means that name is not unique. That means the bucket is already exist. But in SDK, how you will check? In SDK, you will check by the get operation or by the head bucket operation. Because you don't know that bucket that name is unique or not. Maybe someone name is like that time I am checking with the name of Tanveer. So that is not unique. So that's why I have added some number. Okay, let's move forward with the object operations. First, we have seen the bucket operations. Now we see object operations. So you can perform these operations like upload, list, download, copy, move, rename, delete. And there is also some bulk operations are there, like copy, sync, batch operations. These are the bulk operations on the bulk objects. So these object operations can be done one one at a time, or you can also do in batches also. So bucket properties like your encryption, versioning, life cycles, they require some additional header or some sub-resource informations. So by default, get actions returning the current version of an object. So to return a different version, we are using the version sub-resource. If I want to list down all the versions, so I will use the version sub-resource for the objects. Now, first operation, we will see the put object. That means the put operations. So as you know, this S3 is delivering the strong read after write consistency. That means after a successful write of a new object or overwrite of existing object, if any subsequent read request immediately receive the latest version of an object, S3 also providing you the strong consistency for listing the operations. So after a write, you can immediately perform a listing object in a bucket with any changes affected. And I have already told you there is the limitation on a single object that is of 5 TB. A single object cannot be more than 5 TB. But there is also limitation on the single put object also. You can upload or copy object of 5 GB in single put operation. And if your object is larger than this, if your object is larger than 5 GB, then you can use multi-part upload. Can anyone define what is multi-part upload? Let me see chat as well. What is multi-part upload? Yeah, correct. We are uploading in chunks. Chunks uploading. Uploading in parts. Yeah. That's why. Like if your size is bigger than 5 GB, we are using a multi-part upload. This is the limitation with the single put object. If the size is big, then break in small part, then upload. Yeah, correct. So AWS is recommending you, if your file size is bigger than 100 MB, you can use multi-part upload. So they are recommending, like, if maybe like your file size is like 4 GB, so it is possible. It is possible with the with this put operation to upload. But AWS is recommending, if your file size is more than 100 MB, please upload multi-part upload. Please use multi-part upload. But if your object size is 6 GB, then that is not possible with this put operations. So for that, you have to use this multi-part upload. And this is the limitation of a single object. If your object of if a single object is of 6 GB, then it's not possible to upload it in a bucket. At that times, even this multi-part upload is also not working if your object is of 6 GB. Upload speed depends on the internet. How multi-part is different from the block storage? Multi-part upload is the feature. Block storage is a kind of storage. Multi-part upload will be faster, right? Yeah, it is faster also because, see, if I like my file size is, let me tell you how it is faster. If my file size is 100 MB, so what I'm doing, instead of uploading this file, I am creating a chunks of 10 MB, like, sorry, yeah, 10 MBs of 100 10 chunks. So all those chunks are uploading parallelly. So that's why it is fast. Will 6 GB single upload works? No. If your file size is more than 5 GB, single upload, like put object, will not work. Can you see the demo of multi-part upload later today? For the multi-part upload, like there is a lot of configuration I have to do. So right now, I cannot show you the demo, but I will try to show you the demo tomorrow, the multi-part upload. Okay, let's move forward. I hope the things are clear for you. This limitation 5 GB. Well, this limitation 5 GB, 5 TB, and 100 MB. So what is this 5 TB? Can anyone tell me 5 TB? If it goes beyond 6 TB, how to upload it? Then you can use single multi-part upload. Yeah, 5 TB is the object size limit. Single object cannot be more than 5 TB. Exactly, Satyajit. What is 100 MB? Yeah, it is recommended size limit of an object. If your object size is more than 100 MB, they are saying that use multi-part upload. And what about this 5 GB? 6 TB in multi-part upload works? No, nothing will work because a single object cannot be more than 5 TB. Yeah, 5 GB is the maximum size for a single upload. That means for a single put operations. Correct. That means you got my point. Now let's move forward. Multi-part upload with a low level commands. So you can see this on this whole flow, how this multi-part upload works. So whenever as AWS is recommending, if the file size is more than 100 MB, use multi-part upload. So with the multi-part upload, you can perform the task like you can upload the parts in parallel to improve the throughput. Like as already I have shown you the in the previous slide demo, like 100 file size is breaking into 10 MBs. So you can also recover quickly from the network issue, and if there is any pause and resume objects upload. Also, this multi-part uploads basically begin an upload before you know the final size of an object. And there are also some commands for the multi-part uploads. So those commands are already there inside that document. You can take a reference of that document for seeing the multi-part upload commands. So in that commands, we are having these e tags and the upload ID. All those things are there, which is basically initializing your multi-part upload. And you can also like send some special command to initialize the multi-part upload. And you must send a complete multi-part upload request, which indicates the multi-part upload has been completed. Once the like complete is done, then S3 is assembling those parts and creating the complete object. And once upload is successful, you are getting the success message like this, where e tag, location, bucket key, all those things are there. And if the upload is not successful, so for that some cleanup is required to avoid being charged. So for that you can set some lifecycle rules to delete the incomplete multi-part upload. Now we will see some two more operations, that is get and head. Previously, we have seen put operation. This is put operations. Now we will see get and head. So you can retrieve a complete object. If I want a complete object, then I will perform these operations. Complete object, get operation. If I want the object in parts, so I can you like if I want a complete object, so I can use this get operations. If I want object in parts, that is also possible. So that is this parts scenario is useful when the network connectivity is very poor or your application can uh, like uh, can process only the some subset of the object data. So this get actions is returning the current version of an object. And if you want to return a different versions, then I already told you we can use version ID sub resource for list down all the different versions. So actually what happens, sometimes you might not interested in not interested in the complete object. Instead of that, you are interested in the metadata of the object. Metadata means the data about the of the object. So for that, we are performing this head operation. This head request is basically returning the header, and that header contains the metadata information. Header contains the metadata information about the object. So this is the difference between the get and head. I hope this is clear to you. Get and head. What is get? What is head? Can anyone explain? Get operation, head operations. Metadata contain what data? Metadata contain data about the object like your file size, your file name, and all those things. Complete data, get operations, correct. Header, get header. And header, we are having a some information related to the object, like the object size, the file name, all those things. Correct. Let's move forward. So this is example, like this is a code examples in .NET, how you will, this is the .NET examples, how you will get an object. So whenever you are downloading an object from S3 bucket, you can use this get object request method, get object method to get an object from a bucket. Then you can use also get object response. Get object response is basically a method to process the data streams. And the object is streamed directly from the S3. So this means your network connection will remain open until you read all the data or you are closing the input stream. Now let me show you the same thing in Python as well. This is how you can getting the object in Python. You are creating some functions name as get object. So you are defining the object like this: object s3 dot object bucket name and keys, where these parameters object this bucket name is basic bucket name identifier and object keys identifier is there. So this command is basically returning the object resource. And this get command, this get command is basically retrieves the object from S3, and return type is dictionary. Let me show you the same example in Java as well. This is the example of Java. So whenever you are downloading a object from S3, we are using this get object method, get object, to get the object from a bucket. Then you are using a get object response as well for the to process the data stream. So this object is streamed directly from S3. So this means your network connection will remain open until you read all the data or you are closing the input stream. Now let's see the another operations, that is head object. Head object basically retrieves the metadata of the object without returning the object itself. We have seen. Now how to do it? We are running this command. Now what I am doing, I am showing CLI command as well as the SDK code as well. And SDK code I am showing in Python as well, .NET as well, Java as well. So this is a CLI command, how this head object will run to retrieve the information. Now someone is asking what information I will get if I'm running this head bucket. You are running this information: content type, last modified, content length, version ID, e tag, metadata. All things are there. See, last modified. So this particular file is modified on 16 April 2021, and its content type is text slash HTML. So likewise, you can see all the information about the object with the help of this head object. We are having one more operations, that is S3 select. Let's see what is this S3 select. S3 select is basically returning the subset of our data. We want only some subset of our data. So we are using it is basically like a SQL expression when you want some only some subset of a data. So for that we are using this S3 select. So this S3 select is basically analyzing and processing the data in S3 buckets faster, and it is also cheaper than the get methods. So with the get, you are retrieving the whole object, and with this S3 select, you can retrieve a subset of the data from an object by using some SQL expression. So sometimes your applications do not have to use compute resources or to scan and filter the data from objects. So we are not using the compute resources to scan or filter, potentially increasing the query performance and reducing the cost. So for that, we are using this S3 select. S3 select also changing your application code to use select instead of get. So in the get method, you are getting full object. And with this S3 select, some part of object, which I can define in the SQL explanations, like which part I need. Now let me show you this S3 select example. This is the S3 select example in Python. How I can get the sum part of data. So this Python example is basically showing how to retrieve the data from an object in the first column in the CSV format. So if I'm not using S3 select, first you have to download it, then decompress it, and then you have to process the entire CSV file. But if you are using the S3 select, you can use SQL expression to return only the data in which you are interested. So you are dealing with you are dealing with only that data in which you are interested. Okay, that's all. Let me see the chat. Looks like this before and after image have interchange. Let me see again what you are talking about. You are saying that this is the example of yeah, like in the here yeah. Actually, here I'm like making a filter, and here I'm not making a filter. Okay, but you know the concept, like what is S3 select. Let's forget about this. Hmm. Till now, anyone have any doubt, any query? What is the use of index.html in the head command? Index.html is basically your like object name or a file name that you want to retrieve. How SQL can retrieve subset of the object? Yeah, yeah, you can do that. This is the specialty of this feature S3 select. With the help of a SQL expression, you can get the some subset of data. Difference between header bucket and bucket. Bucket is just like your container. Header bucket is basically the header of your bucket, which is having some information. You are performing the SQL select query on your object. Okay, let's see what is next. So anyone knows about the pre-signed URL? What is pre-signed URL? Pre-signed URL? Temporary URL for time bound and for specific user limited access. You shared one link. URL to get temporary URL for S3 access. You can send link to a public users for a temporary purpose. Correct. It is for I am giving a temporary access to someone. I seem you ignore this question. I believe S3 select will take longer time to process. Okay, in comparison to the get request, you are asking. If you are asking in comparison to the get request, then according like time constant, I'm not sure about it. Like it will take more time or not because I have not performed those things. I will like perform the same things with my console. Then I will tell you. Like maybe if it is a delay, there will be a millisecond or some microsecond delay. There will be not that much delay. Like you are waiting for 1 minute or 2 minutes. Okay, now let's see the pre-signed URL. So you know what is pre-signed URL. So instead of defining the pre-signed URL like this is this, like uh, like uh, instead of explaining the concept, I am showing you the demo for the pre-signed URL. So this is my console, and this is my bucket. Let's see. See, yeah, it's good. See, this is my bucket. That is Talib bucket, and inside a Talib bucket, there is one object, and this bucket is private. You can see this. This bucket is private. Okay. So now what I'm doing, let's upload one more object. So what I have done, I have created one object. See, I have created one bucket named as Talib bucket. Inside this Talib bucket, I am having two objects, beach.jpg, cat.jpg. And if I am copying this URL, pasting on my browser, Will I able to access or not? No, because the yeah, because the bucket is private and the object is also private. So what I will do, let me open my CMD and I will tell you how to create a pre-signed URL. It's my CMD. I hope everyone can see it. My CMD is visible to all of you. I am running this command AWS configure, and let me see if the root user credentials are there. Yeah, root user credentials are there. Now what I will do, small, it is small. Let me make it big. So what I will do, I will run a command. Which command I will run? I will run a command for creating a pre-signed URL. This is the command. The command is copied the command from the documentation, pasting it here. This is a command for creating a pre-signed URL. Okay, so AWS S3 pre-signed and bucket name. My bucket name is, in the bucket name, the lib bucket. What's the name? Let me see. Bucket name is Talib bucket 123. Talib bucket 123, and also change the name of our object. Object name is cat dot, no, not this one. JP, sorry, beach dot JPG. Let me confirm once. Beach dot JPG Talib dot bucket. If I want, I can also copy the URI from here and paste the same thing here. If it is not working, then I will paste. I am pressing enter. See this type of URL I got. Now I am again copying this URL and pasting in a chat. Everyone try to access it and let me know. Able to access everyone? And see, if you see, I've also defined the time. What is the time? Can you even tell me what like till what time it will be visible to you? It's not 60 minutes, it's 60 seconds. In the pre-signed URL, in the command, we are giving the time in seconds. So wait for the 60 seconds and let me know. Lost now. Everyone, access denied. Can I see which where I want to go? Okay, Mahesh, yes. Yeah, now access is denied. So this is all about the pre-signed URL. I hope you got the point. If someone wants the command, I am also pasting the command in chat as well. You can call, you can like make a note of it. This time you can customize by yourself, like it is 600 seconds, 6000 seconds, according to you. Can we create pre-signed URL from console only? This time I have not this time I have not used console. This time I am using CLI. Can you see my CMD? How I have created the pre-signed URL? Yeah. So pre-signed is all about getting a restricted access. Yeah, correct. I can restrict access. I can give a temporary access to someone's. That is all about the pre-signed URL. Now let's go back to our PPT. Yeah, I can see, but there is an option to create a from console. Yeah, you can do it from console also. You can do it from SDK also. It's not like that. But I have shown you the option from from CLI. It is read-only access. Yes, it is read-only access. Only you can see it. Let me see the chat. I can see lot of people are asking questions, and someone is saying Swapnil Dubey. I do feel multiple questions are ignored. Actually, I am not ignoring the questions. I am like here to take your questions, but actually we are having a limited times. And see, 362 peoples are there, so it's not possible to takes the queries of 600 like 362 peoples in 4 hour session. So I'm not ignoring anyone questions. I try to I try my best to answer each and every queries of you. If someone is having some related issue, you can with me. After 6, I will resolve your queries. And see, I'm seeing the chat as well as also sharing my PPTs. So that's why it's not possible for me to make an eye on PPT as well, or make an eye on like uh, chat as well. Please reply how to set up pre-signed URL in console. Okay, yeah. So someone is asking about the pre-signed URL in console. So you can I don't see Talib bucket in console. See, Talib bucket is there. How you cannot see it? See this bucket, Talib bucket 1 2 3. It is not there in the console. Can we modify the command and give other permissions? Other permissions means which permissions you want to give? 12 hours, yeah. 12 hours is yeah. 12 hours you can if you want to give you can also give the access of a 12 hours also. Okay, no, without any delay, let's proceed with our next things. So I hope that thing is clear about the pre-signed URL. If someone feels if your questions are ignored and all those things, please be here after 6. I love to answer your queries. Now let's see the examples of pre-signed URL. So this is the example of pre-signed URL, like how to generate a pre-signed URL using the SDK. So this is a Java example, .NET example, as well as we are having a Python example as well. So you can explore all these examples by your own. This is just a code snippet. This is a one of code snippet, like which function I am using. Like I'm using generate pre-signed URL request, get pre-signed URL request in .NET, and generate pre-signed URL in Python. It's not like that if you are using this copying the same code and pasting in a IDE, it will work. It will not work. Why it will not work? Because you need some dependencies. You need to import some packages. Then this code will work. This code will just giving the overview, like what method we are using, like what function we are using, like this, like this, like this. Now let's see the bulk operations. So bulk operations we are having, let's see, we are having bulk operations like copy command and this sync command. So if I talk about the copy commands is basically we are copying the files from a local directory to the S3 bucket also. So this last backslash is required. And if it is missing, the file will be renamed to docs. And if you need to copy multiple files, the AWS S3 CP command requires the recursive parameter as well. If I talk about the sync command is basically illustrating the this basically illustrating the sync command. So whenever you are using the sync command, it copies the entire directory by default, and the subsequent use of sync command copies new and modifying the files. So you can also use the copy operations to change the storage class of an object from standard to redundancy or vice versa. Now let me give you one documentation, because many times I am telling you we are having different storage classes. So you don't know what are the different storage classes. So let me see S3 storage classes. Those things are not covered in the PPT because this is not a part of a developer course. Although I am giving you this document for your reference. These are the different types of storage classes. Standard, intelligent tiering, express one zone, standard one zone, and glacier, glacial flexible retrieval, glacier deep archive, outpost. Everyone has like every storage class has the different use cases according to situation. I'm giving this document to you so you can take a reference because that thing is not included in our PPT. That's why I have given the documentation. So I hope the CP command, the copy command, and the sync command clear to you. Now, how you will iterate through a bucket? Iterate through a bucket means we are iterating through a bucket to list down all the object inside a bucket. So in this example, like this list bucket response, this one, this basically returning a list of buckets owned by the authenticated sender of a request. So you can also notice you can also notice the use of iterators to loop through the result set. Now let's see this iterate over a bucket object. So like some AWS operations is returning a result that are paginated as well. Like that means the results are listed on one page at a time. So if you're using a continuation token, you can process the next paginated result. So S3 buckets, so those S3 buckets returns also are paginated results. So you can show up to 1,000 buckets at a time, and then 1,001 bucket number we are on the next page, then 2001 on the next page, and so on. Likewise, you can do. So this is basically a what is pagination. This is basically pagination. So you are displaying your data in the form of a pages. Like first 10 items are on the first page, then next 11 to 20 items on the next page. So likewise, you can do. So we are also having the feature that is known as paginators. This is a feature inside our AWS S3 that is known as paginators. So you can also use these features. So if you are using this feature, there is no need to write the code manually to paginate your data. You can use this feature, paginator. So to retrieve all the data in a paginated response, you can create a loop that makes a multiple request. And this operation is replacing the next token in the each iterations. So whenever you are using this paginator, this extra loop is not necessary. So it is including a paginator feature to abstract the process of iterating on your bucket. And this paginator can also access the with the paginators, you can access the full response or also key result of your resources. Next is large scale processing with the S3 batch operations. So S3 batch operations means you are performing some large scale operations on the S3 objects. Like you can with the help of a console or some SDK or CLI, you can level and control the access to your S3 batch operations. So the object for the batch operations are specified through a S3 inventory or some custom CSV file. And these files are also known as some manifest files, which contains lot of data, which contains list of object keys. So each rows in the file, including some bucket name, object key, and all those things are there. So this some if you are asking me some example, some operations, S3 batch operations. So like we are having put object copy, put object ACL, or initiate restore object, put object tagging. When you are performing the operations on large scale of data, then it is basically your batch operation. Now, how to host a static website? Let's see that feature, how to host a static websites. So this S3 website endpoint do not support HTTPS or access points. So if you want to use HTTPS, you can use CloudFront for that. Let me write it here for you. For the HTTPS, we are using CloudFront. And CloudFront is basically serving the static website which is hosted on the S3. And you can also configure your S3 bucket as a static website. So this static website is basically having some static resources. Static resources means your HTML or your images. It does not contain any server side processing or server side scripting. Just like someone that time is asking. Like with the Angular, you can do this server side scripting and all those things, but it's not possible with the S3 only. So this website is available at the AWS region specific website endpoints. And for the websites to be publicly accessible, you have to make your bucket public. Now, how to enable the website hosting? This is the CLI command to enable the website hosting. This is the S3 command where like website that is used to configure the S3 bucket as a static website. So we are using a website to set the website configurations for a bucket, and this website is available at the AWS region specific. And this S3 website endpoint is also optimized for accessing a web browsers. So to index this document and to index the document options, we are indicating the landing page where all the visitors will be redirected when once you are enabling the just like I have given you the one object URL, you are accessing the data inside that bucket. Just like one URL is there. So whenever you are clicking on that URL, you will be accessing the same website which you have hosted on a S3. Now let's see cross-origin resource sharing. In short, we are calling as CORS. So this is also feature of S3. So with the help of this, you can build web applications with S3 and allow cross-origin access to your S3 resources. And to enable this course, you can create a course configuration in Z like XML file, and that file contains some rules and that identity that origins can access your bucket. So you can like if you this course is basically defining a way for a client web applications that are loaded in one domain, and if that website is if that website is trying to access with the different domain, that is also possible if you have enabled this features course like this. Like this is the main domain. From here, if you want to access, you can access. But if this feature is not enabled, if someone wants to access it from the alternate domain, then it is not possible. But with the help of this course, you can access it. Now we are having a knowledge check. First, let's have a knowledge check. Then I will also take your queries. Without practical lab practice, not understanding this website hosting. Website hosting is already like S3 website, static website hosting is already there in your lab. That's why I'm repeating again and again. Please do the labs. Is it same as pre-signed? Pre-signed is a different thing and course is a different thing. Domain here, like suppose when someone is like in another region or like in another, uh, you can say the another boundary you can say, and someone is from the another boundary. Like if the another boundary person wants to like take access, then it's not possible if the course is not enabled. Pre-signed is required to access the website. No, no. Like if you want to make your website public, then you have to make your bucket public first. If you have not make your bucket public, then your website is not be accessible for anyone on the internet. One from TCS, one from Infosys. Okay, okay. You are asking. Yeah, you are explaining the course concept. Okay. For the first question, I am getting like a mix of responses. Someone is saying false. Someone is saying true. Now, what's correct? Let me read the statement for you. A statement is saying that multi-part upload object larger than 100 MB in size. Is it true? Or is it false? Those who are saying true, please give your explanation. And those who are saying false, please give your explanation. Let me see what's your understanding on this concept. True. False. Files can be less than 5 GB. Files can be less than 5 GB, Ruchit. But AWS is recommending you if the file size is more than 100 MB, then use multi-part upload. That's why it is true. Let me see for the false who is giving the explanation. Those who are saying true, yeah, you are like that means you gone like you got the concept. Even those who are saying false, we can use single upload till 5 GB. So this is Selva. False because we can use single upload till 5 GB. It's not like that. You can do that, but AWS is recommending if the file size is more than 100 MB, then use multi-part upload because you're like the upload speed is also fast if you're using a multi-part upload. So the answer is true. Mahesh is like giving all the answer in one go. True, 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 false, true, false. Mahesh, are you using some kind of like yeah, first is true. What about the second? Some services have the API that require pagination to access all the data written from the service. True, true, true. Correct. It is true. Because in the AWS SDK, we are having a feature of pagination. We can use for paginate our data. What about the third one? Third question is all about the pre-signed URL. Correct. Pre-signed URL is correct. What about the fourth one? Fourth one is all about the S3 select. This one. Mix of responses. Someone is saying true, someone is saying false. Okay, give your explanation also. Let me see. Those who are saying true, those who are saying false. Fourth one. I'm asking about the fourth one. Correct answer is false. Because with this S3 select, you can use SQL-like syntax to retrieve only subset of data and to get the subset of object that like for the specific matching criteria. For that, we are using a get command. That's why it is false. What about the fifth statement? Fifth statement. Let me highlight something for you. I hope then your answer will change. The keyword is by default. Now answer. Correct. It is false because even notification is there, but it is not by default configured. You have to enable it. What about the sixth one? In the exam also, try to find out the keywords. Maybe you know the concept, but try to read the question at least 2 times. Maybe they are playing with the words. False, false, false. Correct. It is false. Now let me enable the lab number 2 for you. Okay, lab 2 I have enabled from my side. Lab 1, lab 2, and lab 3. Oh, sorry, the pool 1, pool 2, and pool 3. For all the three pools, I have enabled the lab 2 for all of you. Please everyone check and let me know. Lab 1.NET is enabled, still loading more than 3 hours. How long it will take? It is not taking like 3 hours. It is hardly it is taking like 10 to 15 minutes. If it is taking, please try to refresh the page again and try to relaunch your lab. Please explain the question 4 and 6. Let me see. What is question 4 and 6? Yeah, see, question number 4 is all about the asterisk select. So in the asterisk select, we are not it is not like you are downloading the objects that matching a specific criteria. You can for that you are using a get method instead of asterisk select. That's why it is false. If you're asking about the sixth statement is saying that a web server uses CORS to allow or denying the loading of a resources stored within the same domain that is accessed from a that is the like that the website is accessed from. So this one is also false. Why? Because CORS is basically protecting your data from being accessed from the other domains. So in the CORS that the basically the origin is your web server and the source is basically a different domains. That's why it is false. Okay, lab 2 is enabled from my side. Everyone please check and let me know. Let me close this. We are done with the module number 6. Now we will start our another module that is module number 7. Now let me see the chat first. Tali, please explain about the pagination. Are lab 1, lab 2 dependent? No. Answer is no. Course is not allowing to access the site from the other domain. That means like Chandni has given the example. Like one is from the TCS, one is from Infosys. Like some other domain is want to try to access, then that will be not given. If you are enabling that feature course, then that is possible. Sir, some of us still load, some of us still don't have the access to the vital source. I am even tried in the with the incognito mode. So click on let me repeat the like same steps again. Click on the student guide on the lab interface. Then create your account on the vital source. Everything is done. You are not getting a verification mail. No issues. Click on the sign in. And if we are clicking on the sign in and again the same page appearing, then do one thing, close all the tabs and try and click on the student guide again and then let me know. If that method is also not working, then you can try the same thing in a different browser. Ali, please explain about the pagination. Pagination is basically you can say the tool or a feature by which you can paginate your data. I want to see the list of the buckets. So I want to see the 10 buckets on the first page, just like this. See this page is there. So this is the page number 1. So I can define like I want to see the 10 buckets on this page. After that, I will go to the page number 2 and I will see the buckets 11 from 11 to 20. So this is the feature that is called a paginator. Okay. Enabled. Might be issue. Hi Talib. Unfortunately, I don't have a live access. I am putting my name in the doc you have shared. Can you please look into this? Before explain the lab 2, explain the lab 1 for Python, please. See labs like you see like on the day 1, I have just given you some overview how to perform a lab. Lab will be done by with lost the love access stuck. See, those who are doing the labs will be done by you only. I'm not there to like guide you like on the each and every step because the instructions are very clear to you and you can do your lab by your own. But if someone is stucking in somewhere, then for you, I'm here. Like for you, I can take the query, like who is facing some issue. But I cannot guide you in like in each and every steps, like first do this, then first do this, because instructions are already there for the labs. So you can just follow the instructions. How to copy paste a snippet from the instructions to the terminals. Copy option is already there. On every step, copy option icon is there. Just click on that icon. Okay, now we are having a 5 minute break. After that, I will start our next module. Lab will be done by you after the after the session. And those who have already written their pasted their mail on that document, I will give you the access also after the session. Yeah, I'm also
Talib,
covering the database. Who is this?
Abimal here. Talib, I
Yeah,
have
yes, sir.
requested my IT support team to join the session and just have a conversation with learners whosoever
Now,
are facing if any accessing issue in the lab.
okay. Now, sir. Yeah, afterwards.
I mean, I have requested let he will join, then you will also come to know.
Okay, okay.
Madan, you
Because
know, right? IT
yeah,
support
I know.
person.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So I've just requested maybe he will take time, just go for a break and then come back till the time.
Sure, 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 sure.
All right. Okay.
Thank you, sir. See, one more thing. Those who are facing a issue regarding the copy paste option, maybe you have not enabled the copy paste thing on your browser setting. Please enable that thing. And you all are developer. You know how to work with the virtual machine and all those things. So try to find out the try to find out the some like these kind of things with your own also. If copy paste option is not working, that means you have not enabled the copy paste things on your browser setting. Go to the Chrome setting or Edge settings and enable that thing. Is it for all or is it for like some people? All people are not able to copy paste the things. Amit, Sagar, Mukuda, Rishabh, intelligent not able to paste and able to copy paste. See, Aparna is able to copy paste. Yes, I am able to do Parimala. Like lot of the participants are there, I think, who are able to do that. Those who are not able to do that, that means you have not enabled the settings of the copy paste on your browser. Let's have a break of 5 minutes. Hello everyone, I'm back. Okay, till then, the IT people is clean with this. Getting below message, Guru Samay Rajgopal. See, lot of participants are there whose name is already added in the lab, and still you are showing this type of message. See, let me show you something. I'm sharing my screen. See, Guru Samay Rajgopal, your name is already there for lab. Can you see this? Maybe you are trying to access with a different lab. Your name is in the lab one, or you are trying to with the lab two or lab three. I'm copying this student URL and pasting in a chat. Try to access it and let me know. Your name is already there, Nagor Sheikh. I have checked, I think, 3 to 4 times. Let me show you in front of you. See, this is lab one. Let me check your name in lab one. Not in lab one. Let me check in lab two. See, your name is there, Nagor. Maybe you are accessing with some another link. That's why you're not able to access. Try with this. From our side, we have given the access to everyone. Hello, Talib. I have done the bucket creation. I am changes all in GCP program offered by my organization. Is this because I am finding the labs easy? It may be possible. Like if you have the basic knowledge of how to create a bucket and how to work with the IAM and all those things, then yeah, your labs will be very easy for you. As you are having some knowledge with the GCP, so that's good. That means like you can easily easily try to relate the things with the AWS also. Can you enable the capstone project for me? Capstone project? What this means? No, not yet. I'm I'm like sharing the another. I actually want to study for a professional certification after doing SSA, SAA. Aparna, but this course is related to a developer. So this is another course. Now, okay, can I attempt DBA C02 after this session? Yeah, also. Yeah, like once the session is over, like on the last day of the session, I will give you the all the insight about the exam and all those things. And I will make sure that you will complete the exam in a one go. Like in a first attempt, you will pass your exam. No, no, no. Like I'm starting the session. There's no need to drop off. I'm starting with the module number 7, with that is database. Till the like the IT person is not coming, till then I'm giving you the some overview. Once the IT person is coming, then we will sort that issue. Okay, so we will start our session with the discussion of the databases. So can anyone name me which database we are working, like which databases which we are using for our application? Which databases we are using for our application? DynamoDB, correct, correct, correct. DynamoDB. Someone is saying my MS SQL, Redshift. Okay, and we are working on the DynamoDB only. We are not working on the Redshift, and we are not working on the MS SQL. Correct. Talib, can you please show me on how to open IntelliJ in Java Lab? Steps are already there in the instructions. Please follow the instructions. Like there is one options how to connect using an RD, how to connect using through the GoCommer link. Click on that. You will see the all the instructions are already there. If I'm here, like if I'm showing the same demo, like it will take, yeah. So let's start our module number 7. So I'm talking about the DynamoDB. So DynamoDB, let's see what is more about the DynamoDB. So this is module number 7. After the module number 8, then I will enable the lab number 3. In the lab number 3, you will work on the DynamoDB. So by the end of this module, you will be able to describe the key components of DynamoDB, multiple ways to connect to the DynamoDB, and also some SDK dependencies, and work with the request and response objects. This is the, let's see some different database options. So we will start our discussion with the difference between the relational database and the non-relational database. SDK dependencies for S3 we discussed. Yes, you have not seen the PPT. I have shown you the all the dependencies like boto3.s3, boto3.s3.transfer. You have not seen that? Yeah, I'm asking the question related to the what is the difference between the relational database and the non-relational database? Relational structured database, okay. What about the non-relational? CosmoDB, okay. Schema, structured, unstructured. Correct. So everyone is saying that relational database is having a structured schema, like a structured data will be stored in a structured format, like in the form of rows and columns. And in the non-relational database, data is unstructured. We are storing the data in the form of a key value pairs. I hope you know what is key value pairs. Like like we are storing our data in form of a key values. Like key values is like name is basically your key, value is Talib. That is basically your key values. So AWS is having a variety of databases. So you have to choose for your use case. Like they are also offering some relational database services. Relational database services like your RDS is there, Redshift is there, and they are also offering some NoSQL databases like DynamoDB, which we are using for our application. Neptune is there. Neptune is the graph type of database. Elastic Cache is there, which is in-memory caching. They all are the NoSQL, like non-relational databases. You can see their database types as well as their use cases. In which case I will use DynamoDB when I need a high traffic web application, e-commerce systems and gaming applications. That means when I need a high performance for my applications, in that case I will use a DynamoDB. Let's see. This is a comparison between the relational and the non-relational databases. Let's see. So like see in the relations, data is stored in the form of rows and columns in hierarchy in the key value format. Schema is fixed here. Schema is dynamic here. Here you are querying using SQL. Here you are focused on the collection of documents. Here scalability is vertical. Here scalability is horizontal. Can anyone tell me what is the difference between the horizontal scaling and the vertical scaling? Like dictionary, AWS, SAM. I don't know what you're trying to ask. Yeah, I'm asking the question. What is the difference between the horizontal scaling and vertical scaling? Vertical is to increase the capacity. In horizontal also we are increasing the capacity, but how? Okay, that's an interesting one. Chen is saying vertical is we are increasing the RAM. Horizontal we are increasing the number of processor. Okay. This one I am looking for. Manoj is saying vertical means adding more power. Okay. Increase the number of more components. Correct. Correct. Vertical rows increase. No, I am not asking like in here. I'm not asking about these terms. Like I'm not asking about the database terms. I'm in general asking what is horizontal scaling, what is vertical scaling. Just forget about the database, forget about the DynamoDB, forget about the everything. In general, yeah, this one adding more nodes, increasing power to existing nodes. That's correct. That's correct. So horizontal scaling means we are adding more nodes. Suppose i3 processor is there and I need some more power. So what I will do? One virtual machine of i3 processor, I will add one more machine of i3 processor. Then I need more power. Then I will add one more machine of i3 processor. Then I need more power. Then I will do the same thing again and again. But if I talk about the vertical scaling, what I am doing? Previously, I am using a i3 processor for serving the request. So instead of adding one more machine, what I will do? I will upgrade from i3 to i5, then i5 to i7, and i7 to i9. Likewise, I am adding a more capacity. I hope thing is clear to you. Vertical scaling and the horizontal scaling. Okay, so let me give you some more overview. So this is all about the vertical and the horizontal, and its transaction is also supported, and it is support varies, and it is having a strong consistency. It is having a eventual and a strong consistency. These things we will see in detail in the further slides. What is this consistency? I will also talk about the RCU, read capacity unit, and WCU, write capacity unit. This is basically a throughput. This is the example. This is a comparison between the relation and the non-relational database. Like this is a SQL like this is a relational database where we are querying the using some SQL explanations. Data is stored in the rows and columns. Here, this is a non-SQL, no, like no SQL data, no SQL example. Data is stored inside a like in JSON documents in key value pairs. Okay, this is value. Let's see what is. So your application, user will be reading, user will be reading some data, adding some more node, updating nodes, deleting nodes multiple times in a day. Okay, so that's why we have chosen the DynamoDB because DynamoDB is a viable solution to store those interactions. It is a more efficient than other databases. That's why we are because we need more high efficiency for our data for our applications. That's why we have chosen DynamoDB for our application. Okay, so why to choose DynamoDB? So DynamoDB is having okay, I think let me see the time. Okay, so we are keeping the session till here. From tomorrow, we will see the DynamoDB in detail. Right now, I have just given the overview of the RDS, like the relational database and the non-relational database. So I'm giving you some more times to ask your queries regarding the today's session. You are having a 4 minutes to ask your queries. Yeah, you have to finish the lab too. Yeah, those who are not having any queries, they can like leave the session.